It's 641 News Radio 102.9 KARN. First News, Kevin Miller, joined by Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Kevin. It's good to be on with you.
Thanks for being on. The president's tweets have made quite a stir. I want to get your take on what's happening there.
Kevin, I think that clip you just ran from Mitch McConnell is probably appropriate. It's pretty hot right now in Arkansas and in Washington, all across the United States, and probably not helpful for politicians to be adding even more to the heat. Yesterday you had Nancy Pelosi calling the president a racist on the House floor and violating the House rules to do so. Big war of words going. The House Democrats today, I guess, are going to vote to hold in contempt or start impeachment proceedings against Attorney General Bill Barr just for following the law. I think everybody would be better advised to focus a little bit more on the people's business and a little bit less on the war of words.
Senator, a lot going on here. The president obviously not happy with what's happening with some of the House Democrats. There is a divide. I think we can say there's a divide between Republicans and Democrats.
I think it's fair to say that Nancy Pelosi is not happy with a lot of those House Democrats as well. I mean, right. She was launching broadsides against them through her proxies in the party and the media last week before this latest controversy. It goes to the fact that some of these junior first-term House Democrats are just outright socialists, and they say anti-American and anti-Semitic and anti-police things. And I think that's one reason why the president has been so appalled by their rhetoric.
I'm curious about this, Senator. I mean, we negotiate with North Korea. We've talked to Kim Jong-un. We've talked to China, Russia, Mexico. We may even sit down with Iran. We may disagree as Americans on major issues, significant issues. We may not see eye to eye, but why can we not sit down together and negotiate rather than fight and banter in Washington all the time?
Well, Kevin, we can and we should. I've recently introduced legislation to try to make sure that Huawei, the Chinese telecom giant that is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, is not a threat to the prosperity and security and privacy of our Kansans and all Americans. And I did that with Democrats like Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, in the same way that I've sponsored other legislation to address the opioid epidemic we have. We can be rivals, we can be opponents without being enemies in our domestic politics. And even to the degree, Kevin, that two people in senior positions in our government might not get along personally, there's lots of allies that we have in the Congress or even at a staff level that can maintain those relationships. I've heard some stories that I won't reveal of past presidents who detested their foreign counterparts but understood that it was an important relationship for America to maintain and had their cabinet members or their senior advisors maintain that relationship with their counterparts. So even if we have pretty stark disagreements, as I do, for instance, with Chuck Schumer, that doesn't mean that we can't work together to do the people's business. Yeah.
Where's the civility in Washington? Is it still there?
It is, Kevin. I can tell you, I just got out of the gym downstairs where there were several of my Democratic colleagues who I see every morning when I walk in and out of the gym. And we enjoy ribbing each other and making some jokes at each other's expense, when one party or the other is on the ropes in the day's news. But by and large, we get along very well. Like I said, Chuck Schumer is one of those that was down there in the gym. And Chuck saw my son yesterday and was very kind to him and told him he had a good father, even if his father was wrong about most of politics.
Hey, it's Senator Tom Cotton, News Radio 102.9 KARN. Senator, with Iran, what's the situation there? Is there potential that we negotiate with them?
Well, there's always potential in the future, Kevin, but right now Iran is not behaving like a normal nation, still supporting terrorism and trying to overthrow governments on its borders. I mean, we're not asking Iran to become like a Western democracy, to become Denmark before we talk to them. We're asking them to stop supporting terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas and quit trying to overthrow governments in the region, quit trying to gain nuclear weapons. Iran very clearly is not willing to become a normal nation, at least not right now, and that's one reason why the president has reimposed all of the sanctions that were waived. And I think he will respond soon to my calls to also eliminate all of the so-called nuclear waivers that allow European countries to work in Iran's nuclear program. That really would be the death knell of the nuclear deal, and it would also eliminate Iran's path to what the Ayatollahs have wanted all along, which is not civilian nuclear power of the kind we have in the River Valley at Russellville, but a nuclear weapons program.
All right. Senator Tom Cotton, always good to talk to you, and thanks for being on this morning.
Yep. Thanks, Kevin. Everybody stay cool this week.
We'll do our best.